Let's understand TypeScript in Express. So we have used the TypeScript before this in the front end and in one of the technology called Angular, how it is useful in the front end. So now in Express, so what we do in Express, we create the RESTful APIs. So it supports a wide range of facilities to create the beautiful REST APIs with powerful features in that. We generally write the code in JavaScript, and Express library is also returned in completely JavaScript. But as we have learned, there is a community which convert this and give us the type file for that, the declaration type file, using which we can use the Express framework with our TypeScript as well. So in this particular module, we'll see how to create a small little backend application which can serve a RESTful API using JavaScript. Initially, we'll do with Express framework. Later, we'll try to convert the same with the TypeScript and understand how we can write the same JavaScript code with Express in TypeScript. So let's begin this module with TypeScript for Express. It's time to install the TypeScript here in this Node application, which is attached with the Express library. So along with the TypeScript, we'll also need other libraries from our declaration files for the Express as well as the Node. And the declaration files for the Express and the Node are available from the definitely type community, as we have seen in the advanced module earlier. So let me just come back here and let's open a new terminal here, or we'll just pause the same so that we can rerun, and that will be also good practice. Here, I need to mention I want to do perform the installation using npm, and I'm saying -d. What exactly this -d? It is stating that I need these dependencies locally just for the development purpose, because the TypeScript, the types declaration file for the Express, the declaration file for the Node are only required for a developer when he is writing a code. It is not required for the production dependencies. That's the reason we are installing this as a development dependency. And what will be the effect of this inside the package.json file, that we'll also see after this installation. So very first thing, we need a latest version of the TypeScript. Then we also need the definitely types communities express library, and we'll also need the types for the node. And so with this command, we're installing the three libraries together. So you can again see it's a TypeScript, then we are using the Express, and then we are installing the node types. Let me just zoom out a little bit and show you it one more time. Let's hit the enter here. Yes, so for me the installation was super fast here, because already these maximum things are installed in my machine. For you it might take a little bit time. Now let's observe package.json file here. So here, as I told you, a new section called added dev dependencies, and it is showing the types for Express, the types for Node, which we need to use the Express library inside our TypeScript, because that is written in the JavaScript. The same is for Node, and we are also using TypeScript under our development dependencies. And if you see in the production dependencies, there is only called Express and NodeMon. NodeMon is also not necessary in the in the production dependencies. By mistakenly we have added here, but that's not needed under the production dependencies. So let's come back here, and it's time to initialize the TypeScript project that we will see in the next lecture. Let's initialize a TypeScript project so that we can start creating the TypeScript files. So we just need to mention npx here, and we want a TypeScript project and an init out of it. Yes, so it will give you the tsconfig.json file with by default available options here. It is by default targeting for the ES2016 and many more. We don't need to do anything over here as of now. Very first thing, what we need here, we need at least one TypeScript file, and that's the reason we are getting some issue here for this tsconfig.json file. So not to worry on this if you're getting this error. So make sure there is at least one TypeScript file inside your project. So anyway, we need the index.typescript file where we are going to write all this code inside the TypeScript. So let's do that. Index.typescript. As soon as you are doing that, you should be seeing the error which was coming on the tsconfig.json file is gone. And now we have learned about few configuration inside our tsconfig.json. So we have seen something called as out directory, root directory, from where the TypeScript file should be considered for the execution, from where the TypeScript, the JavaScript output of your TypeScript code should be emitted, something called as out directory. So we'll start creating some out directory here where the output JavaScript files will be there, so that the source and the JavaScript will be at different location so that we can work more smoothly. So let's start creating here the out directory. Let me just figure it out. It will be inside the emit one. Yes, here it is. So this is an out directory. So we'll mention here it should be inside a dist folder. What we mean by dist, it's a distribution folder. As soon as we are doing that, if we compile, we'll be able to see the distribution folder. But right now we are not compiling any TypeScript file yet. Along with that, one more configuration we'll do for our JavaScript source file for the TS. So for that, there is something called root directory. So inside this root directory, we'll also mention scr. So what we'll try start doing now, we'll start creating a folder called scr, and inside that folder, we will be creating our index.ts file. So let's move this file inside the source. Super correct. Now the source files will be inside our TS and the output file will be inside the distribution folder. So now what we can do here, we can just say TSC. We'll just want to perform one quick compilation so that we can see the distribution file got created. So let me just mention here the console hi, and we are also having okay. So let me just compile it. As soon as we are doing that, we are able to see here the distribution folder got created, and inside that the JavaScript file is there, which is giving a hi, which is mentioned here in the TS file. So now in this particular TS file, we'll try to create our Express application, and we'll try to start listening. We'll try to create some RESTful APIs by using the TypeScript with Express here. Let's start writing creation of an Express server inside the TypeScript. So very first thing, we need an Express module, which is coming from an Express library. And we need to create a app with this. Okay, so from now onwards, we should start observing the difference. The import that we are doing, that is different from our JavaScript. The Express app we are creating, that is also different here. How the difference we can observe. So if you closely observe here, this particular JavaScript file is having an app creation of Express, but it is not giving you any particular type for it. Even I can mention anything other here, for example, like this. But when you do that, like it's not explicitly mentioning anything. So when we are doing any other assignment of data type, it can happen inside your JavaScript, and these data type mismatch and everything we have to remove inside our TypeScript code. So if you go to the TypeScript file here, and if you mention, it is going to follow the Express modules, Express interface. So it's very clear now this particular app, Express app, is having some specific data type from our Express module. Let's move to the next one and start listening to this server. So app dot listen. Okay, and we need to give the port number and an arrow function which will get executed when our server is started. So let's log here server started. And okay, so now we need to first convert our TypeScript file inside the JavaScript before running the server, because at the end your Express server should be running in the JavaScript. So our responsibility is to convert this TypeScript code to the JavaScript, and then we should run the JavaScript server. I'll just quickly add and route here, which we just saying just hello and hi app dot using a get method, which is serving on the root location, and we generally have a request and the response. And let me just mention here response dot send. This is TypeScript plus Express server. Okay, so if any user hitting at this particular root location of our API URL, so they will get this response as of now. So let's take a step to convert this TypeScript file to the JavaScript. So we have something called as TSC, TypeScript compiler. So as soon as I'm doing that, the compilation will succeed, and if I open the JavaScript file, I should get an equivalent code in the JavaScript. So how this conversion is happening and everything we have seen in detail when we have learned the TypeScript compilation in the different previous module. So it is having a very different code here, which we know with much is not needed to go in much detail about it. So our core focus should be at this TypeScript file. So we have received the output file. Now our next task is to run this on a server. So how we do that? Let me open one more new terminal, and we generally say node mon. So our file is inside distribution folder, and there it is index.js. So it started listening. Yes. So we are getting the root, the first REST API got called, which is on the root level, and this is saying TypeScript plus Express server. It started. So this REST API is getting called. So let's say we have updated our server code here, and I'm making v2, and let's save this file. And if I go back here and if I want to see the updated output, I'll not be able to see that. So I'll just take a pause here. What we can do here, as soon as if I save something here, the server code should get updated, and updated backend Express server should be started. Yes. So the way we have automated using this nodemon to continuously start watching the JavaScript file whenever it is getting changed. The same way we can also monitor our TypeScript files. And we have an inbuilt facility with our TypeScript compiler with the flag hyphen hyphen watch. So whenever we are changing anything inside our TypeScript file, so it is getting recompiled, and it is giving you updated JavaScript file. Whenever your JavaScript file is changed, with our one more terminal running, due to this nodemon, the server is getting restarted with updated code. And if I go now and refresh the site, it will give me the v3. Let's come back here, make the v4. It is generating the JavaScript file, and the JavaScript, due to the nodemon, the server is getting restarted with the updated code. We should get v4 here. So this is how we have seen how to set up the TypeScript inside our Express application, and how to use the Node-man also in coordination with each other. And we have seen the conversion of the JavaScript code inside the TypeScript. There are one more last option I would like to highlight here. Here we have seen the data type for that is very much fixed at line number 3. At this particular place also, line number 5, for your request and response, the data type is fixed, that is request and the response. We can even explicitly mention that if you want to do that. So let's say here from the Express module, I want to use the request here, and from the Express module, I want to use the response here. So this is the way whatever the technology we have learned called TypeScript should be applied in different framework at a different level whenever it is used.